In our previous sessions, we explored the foundational truth that a person is the sum total of their thoughts, and that the mind functions as a garden that must be intentionally cultivated. Now, we move toward a principle that many find challenging, yet it is perhaps the most liberating of all: the effect of thought on circumstances. If we are the architects of our character and the gardeners of our souls, it follows that we are also the authors of the world we inhabit. Allen suggests that our environment is not a random collection of events, but a mirror, a looking glass, that reflects the inner state of our being back to us. The core of this lesson is the law of harmony. According to Allen, the outer conditions of a person's life will always be found to be harmoniously related to their inner state. This does not imply that every single event is a direct result of a specific thought, but rather that our circumstances are so intimately connected with some vital thought element within ourselves that they are, for the time being, indispensable to our development. Every individual is where they are by the law of their being. The thoughts which have been built into the character have brought them there. In the arrangement of a human life, there is no element of chance. Everything is the result of a law which cannot err. This brings us to a radical reassessment of individual responsibility. Allen argues that a person is pushed about by circumstances only so long as they believe themselves to be the creature of outside conditions. As long as you believe that your unhappiness, your poverty, or your failures are the fault of the economy, your upbringing, or your bad luck, you remain a prisoner of those conditions. However, when you realize that you are a creative power and that you may command the hidden soil and seeds of your being out of which circumstances grow, you then become the rightful master of yourself. You stop being a victim and start being a navigator. To understand this mastery, we must look at the law of attraction not as a modern trend, but as a deep spiritual reality. Allen states clearly that people do not attract what they merely desire, but what they truly are. We often spend our lives wishing and praying for a change in our external world while remaining internally unchanged. We desire prosperity while harboring thoughts of lack. We desire love while harboring thoughts of resentment. But the universe does not grant us what we wish for. It grants us what we justly earn. Our whims, passing desires, and ambitions are thwarted at every step, but our inmost thoughts and desires are fed with their own food, be it foul or clean. The soul attracts that which it secretly harbors, that which it loves, and also that which it fears. This is a vital point. We attract not only what we desire, but also what we dread. If you harbor a secret fear of failure, you are essentially feeding that failure with your mental energy until it manifests in your circumstances. Circumstances are simply the means by which the soul receives its own. Every thought seed sown or allowed to fall into the mind produces its own kind, blossoming sooner or later into an act and bearing its own results of opportunity and circumstance. Allen provides 3 powerful cases to illustrate this truth. First, consider one who is deeply impoverished and anxious to improve outward conditions, yet who shirks honest labor and seeks to deceive an employer. Such a person imagines poverty to be the result of insufficient wages, while in truth attracting deeper wretchedness by dwelling in indolent and undisciplined thoughts. An effect is resisted while its cause, deceit and laziness, is carefully nourished in the heart. Next, consider one who is wealthy yet afflicted with persistent disease as the result of gluttony. Large sums are willingly expended in the hope of a cure, while no sacrifice is made of indulgent desires. The effect of health is sought, even as the cause of disease is carefully preserved. Such a condition renders health impossible, for the first principles of a sound life have not yet been learned. Finally, consider the employer who adopts crooked measures in order to evade the payment of a just wage. When bankruptcy follows and reputation is destroyed, circumstances are blamed, while the truth remains unseen that the condition endured is self-created. These examples reveal the futility of fighting against circumstances. To fight an external condition while preserving its internal cause is a waste of energy. People are often anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound. True progress begins only when one ceases to whine and revile and commences to search for the hidden justice which regulates one's life. As the mind is brought into harmony with this regulating factor, the habit of accusing others as the cause of one's condition ceases, and the work of building character through strong and noble thoughts begins. This building process follows the law of crystallization. Thought cannot be kept secret. It rapidly crystallizes into habit, and habit solidifies into circumstance. Allen provides a detailed map of this process. Base and animalistic thoughts crystallize into habits of sensuality, which solidify into circumstances of destitution and disease. Thoughts of fear, doubt, and indecision crystallize into weak and irresolute habits, which solidify into failure and servile dependence. Hateful and condemnatory thoughts crystallize into habits of accusation and violence, which solidify into injury and persecution. On the other hand, the law works just as surely for the noble. Beautiful thoughts of all kinds crystallize into habits of grace and kindliness, which solidify into genial and sunny circumstances. Pure thoughts crystallize into habits of self-control, which solidify into circumstances of repose and peace. Thoughts of courage, self-reliance, and decision crystallize into upright habits, which solidify into circumstances of success, plenty, and freedom. Energetic thoughts crystallize into habits of industry, which solidify into circumstances of pleasantness. This kaleidoscope of life is exquisitely adjusted to your ever-moving thoughts. While you cannot directly choose your circumstances in the moment, you can choose your thoughts, and so indirectly, yet surely, you shape your circumstances. Nature helps every person to the gratification of the thoughts they most encourage. Opportunities are presented that will most speedily bring to the surface both the good and evil thoughts within you. Allen reminds us that suffering is always the effect of wrong thought in some direction. It is an indication that the individual is out of harmony with the self and with the law of being. The supreme use of suffering is to purify, to burn out all that is useless and impure. Suffering ceases for the one who is pure. Just as there is no object in burning gold after the dross has been removed, a perfectly enlightened being could not suffer. Blessedness, not material possessions, is the true measure of right thought. Wretchedness, not lack of possessions, is the measure of wrong thought. A person may be cursed and rich, or blessed and poor, and is only truly conditioned when they are a happy, healthy, and prosperous being. And this results from a harmonious adjustment of the inner with the outer. The world does not favor the greedy or the dishonest, even when it seems to on the surface. It helps the honest, the magnanimous, and the virtuous. To know this, one must persist in making oneself more virtuous by lifting up their thoughts. One rises, conquers, and achieves only by the elevation of thought. Without such elevation, weakness and misery remain. If you would change your world, you must change your mind. Let a person cease from sinful thoughts, and all the world will soften and be ready to help. Let such person put away weak and sickly thoughts, and opportunities will spring up on every hand to aid their strong resolves. No hard fate can bind down the person who encourages good thoughts. The divinity that shapes our ends is within ourselves. It is our very self. In conclusion, the lesson of the effective thought on circumstances is a call to total self-mastery. Only the self places manacles upon itself. Thought and action are the jailers of fate. They imprison us when they are base, but they are also the angels of freedom. They liberate us when they are noble. Keep your hand firmly upon the helm of thought. Remember that in the bark of your soul reclines the commanding master. He does but sleep. Wake him. Your circumstances are the field of your evolution, the mirror of your soul and the fruit of your husbandry. Through right thinking, the tyrant called circumstance is dethroned and compelled to serve. Through the power of your will, you can hew a way to any goal. Comfort yourself with the knowledge that the universe is right, and as you right yourself, you will find that the gods are ready to obey. Self-control is strength, right thought is mastery, calmness is power. Say unto your heart, peace, be still.